What is up, cinephiles? Welcome back to Screen Kings. Today's Netflix movie review is going to be a Western film directed by Jeymes Samuel. This is going to be an exciting one because this is the first black Western film. I'm not sure if they've done this before where they cast most of the characters here as black people, but I'm pretty sure that this is the first one that they did it, so consider this as the Black Panther of Western cinema. Now, I'm talking about The Harder They Fall. It's nice to have something like this because usually this genre is often whitewashed by Hollywood, and the narratives or the perspective of these stories are usually told on the gaze of white people, and whenever black people are included in the mix, they're usually in that tired narrative of slavery and oppression. So it's nice to have a change of things here where both the protagonists and the villains are black people, and think of this as a course correction in history. So yeah, let's talk about the movie. This is a revenge saga about an outlaw cowboy not loved, played by Jonathan Majors, as he hunts down the ruthless man who killed his family, and that man is Idris Elba as this world-weary and gritty character named Rufus Buck. There are two rival factions of African-American outlaws in this film. One is led by Not Love and the other one is led by Rufus Buck, and in the opening credits of the film, it's established early on which of these characters play on which side. So I think that really helps to make the narrative easier to digest. And yeah, another thing that's prefaced on the beginning of this movie is these characters, they are based on real people. They put some twist into their characters, but the whole narrative is fictional. So there's still an actual truth to these characters. Now, I'm not sure if there are going to be any complaints when it comes to the casting, because not everyone here on the characters, they're not black. Some of the characters are biracial, and the movie just purposefully casted these people as black. Well, personally, I don't mind it because I don't have any affinity to these characters. I barely know them. I don't know these people actually. Hollywood in the past has often done whitewashing when it comes to this role, so why can't black people do the same? So I don't really mind it. What's important is they all have brought these characters into life, into their own persona. Maybe it's actually into their advantage that these people are not that known, so they can add some personal touch. And yeah, they all have the proper stance and the proper charisma into presenting their characters that I don't feel the need to verify the accuracy of these characters. Apart from Idris Elba and Jonathan Majors, we also have singer and saloon owner Stagecoach Mary, played by Zazie Beetz. Regina King as this mysterious and menacing Trudy Smith. There's also a pistol-slinging law enforcement officer, Bass Reeves, played by the one and only Delroy Lindo, and Lakeith Stanfield as a quick sharpshooter, Cherokee Bill. Now, all of the performances here are engaging and layered. All of the actors here are given their own moments to shine, whether it comes to having a character-centric moment or having these badass action sequences. And when it comes to having an ensemble piece, it's almost hard to stand out, but Jonathan Majors still does, and as it should be, because he's the main character here and he still remains to be the center of the film, even if he's not present in all of the scenes. And I know the acting capacity of this actor because I've seen him just last year in one of my favorite TV shows, Lovecraft Country. So if you haven't seen that show, or if you haven't been acquainted in him in the previous films, this movie will tell you that this man is a leading man material. He's one of the up-and-coming rising stars of this generation. And true enough, if you're watching Loki, he's going to be the next big bad of Marvel. He's going to play Kang the Conqueror in the next phase of Marvel films. So you definitely have to watch out for this actor. Now, as for the plot beats, it's pretty much your standard issue of Western films. The whole film leans onto a couple of genre conventions, and I didn't mind that because it didn't take away much from the movie. What is important for me is these characters. I think they're well fleshed enough for an ensemble piece, and the motivations are clear. The outlaw gangs here, they don't feel too hollow because they have their own goals and ambitions stated in this movie. And yeah, all the connections are forged really well, and that is partly in thanks to the script really taking its time to set up these characters, to move them like chess pieces, not hurrying them to in this one big climax. And when it came, that big climax of a shootout, it's really well staged, it's really stylistically done. The whole film has its own modern flair thanks to the musical scoring and the musical soundtrack. Here we have here a combination of needle drops and original songs, genres ranging from Afro beats to reggae to hip-hop. So Jeymes Samuel here, he's a musician before becoming a director. So he also musically scored this movie. And it really works. Usually when it comes to period pieces with anachronistic song choices, it won't work for me. But this is the case where it really blends well. And also add that thrilling action and that dry sense of humor, which I really dig throughout this movie. I haven't heard of Jeymes Samuel prior to this movie. I believe this is directorial debut, and it's a pretty impressive one. And sure enough, after this movie, I'm going to remember his name. I'm going to keep an eye out on his future projects because I really feel his assured direction here, his confidence when it comes to tying this narrative together with all those stylistic choices, the whole energy that this movie brings. And yeah, it's quite nice to have a filmmaker like him to somewhat reinvigorate a dying genre. Who knows what else he can do in other genres. So I'm definitely interested in his future projects. And maybe if there's something that I wanted more from this film, it has to be with the subtler themes. Though it's not really a necessary thing for me because this is a Western film that knows how to have fun. So that is not my main priority, though it would be nice to have these subtle themes. But all in all, how this movie flips the gender narrative, all those racial politics. I forgot to mention that the women in this movie are just badass. They all have agency in this movie. None of them are damsel in distress. My favorite character in particular here would have to be Coffee, played by Danielle Deadwyler. She's a non-binary person, which I really enjoyed, and I really liked her character growth throughout this movie. So all in all, I will count this movie as a win for the Western cinema. This is definitely a revival or a resurgence of some form, and we don't really get a lot of Western films these days, and this one is a pretty solid one. The production design, there's details, and the costume designs. This is a compelling revenge tale set in a pure Western fantasy, and with all those new breeds of filmmakers that are coming out these days, it's amazing how to see this old genre being turned into something refreshing and something new. So Western cinema is not dead for me. Maybe it's in the process of rebirth stage, just like what this movie does. So I'm gonna give this one a 4.5 out of 5 stars. There's a hint in the end that we might see some of these characters again. Personally, I would like to see the character of Delroy Lindo being given a spin-off show or a spin-off movie, because I think that would be really interesting. So that's it for my review of The Harder They Fall. How about you guys? Have you seen this movie? Let me know what you think in the comment sections down below. Also, if you enjoyed watching this video, hit that like and subscribe to me for weekly reviews of movies and TV shows. Thank you so much guys for watching. Until then, I'll see you all on the next one.